Huh.
Hello there. Welcome. This is episode 2 in 6 weeks of Soap of the Gods. These soaps were made by Monica Gillum from Yulay products. And this evening's shave, we're going to use the Bay Rum. Now, I've talked about it before, but if you look and you see there's some stuff, a little bit of soap I had left over when last time I shaved with it. I just generally take little chunks out, in this case, a little piece of what looks like stars there, and put it in my bowl and whip up a lather. I'm going to do things a little bit different, but before I do, I want to kind of accentuate that, because that's a really beautiful way to do soap, and I love that the presentation of this soap. It's a lovely scent. We'll talk more about that when you get it. But what I'm going to do, or when we get into the shave, what I'm going to do is go ahead and start lathering. And we're going to use my Duke 2 Simpson. And I have been pulling, like I said, pieces out here. I'm just going to lather in this now. I like to keep it like that because I like people to be able to see. But I've used this soap. Sometimes before I shave with them on camera, I'll use them. And then before I do that, and then sometimes I'll just shave for the first time on camera. But it kind of messes up that, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's something that I want to kind of try to highlight in these soaps, because I think it makes a difference. And what I mean by that is, I think that if someone is interested in their presentation, and I said this on the other video, but it's true. I think if someone's interested in the way they present their product enough to look at it in an artistic way, that tells me a bit about the kind of artisan, because that's the word, that the person is. I love the artisans, and I'm not knocking any of them, but I like I like the old standby stuff, Parasso, and something. I like the company stuff too, for lack of a better, or the commercial stuff too, for lack of a better word, as well as the artisans. But we've got so many. There are so many wonderful artisans out there. As a matter of fact, Chris Bailey is doing planning a series of 30 different artisans, and he's gonna review their products and rate their service and all of that kind of stuff. Please understand, he said already, look, this is an opinion kind of deal, so understand that when you start looking at his ratings and stuff like that. But I think that's going to be a really cool series, because he's a lot more familiar with a lot of the different artisans than I am. I have a limited budget, and I can't buy a lot all the time. And I'm not saying Chris has got a ton of money, but he buys a lot more soaps than I do. And he works hard, I'm sure, to be able to do that. So, but that's something a lot of people in this world forget, but I'm not going to go into people. Some people just, they forget, people work for what they have a lot of times, you know, and they deserve to get what they get. That's the deal, you know, if you work hard for it and stuff like that. But anyway, I don't want to get into the politics and all of that. You know, he's got more experience with artisans, and one of the reasons too is that, you know, early on he made a choice that, you know, he was going to go mostly artisan. Every now and then you'll see him use, you know, a commercial type product. For the most part, he does artisan. And so he's got a lot more experience. Wow, this stuff is just soaking up water and soaking up water. I like that. Anyway, and so it'll be awesome to watch the reviews, because there's probably, I'm sure there's going to be soaps there that I don't even know about. And so, you know, watch it. I would encourage you to watch it, because I think it's going to be really fun and interesting. All right. This soap probably needs more water. I really should stop there, but I need to put I'm a kind of guy, you guys know, I like a wet lather. A lather that has a lot of hydration to it. So this lather is taking a ton of water, and it's taken me longer than I thought to whip it up because of it, because I think I loaded my brush a bit too much. And so, you know, I almost stopped, but I don't want to dry shave. To me, what would be a dry shave? So, you know, I took the time. But anyway, this is, excuse me, let me dry my hands. This is a Bay Rum, and I don't have a huge experience with Bay Rums. I think I've tried three or four different Bay Rums. Most of them were like the highly spiced variety, and some with lighter spices. This Bay Rum has no spices that I can detect in it whatsoever. I tell you what it smells like to me, and that's a lovely, lovely, lovely lather. Look at that lather. What it smells like to me is Bacardi, the dark Bacardi rum. That's what it smells like to me. It's a lovely scent. The only problem that I have with it is that it needs to be stronger scent-wise. The scent of this soap is very, very light. But there's like I said, it smells to me like dark Bacardi rum. And it's got that little hint of sweetness that rum has. And it's just a lovely scent. Okay, I have been remiss. Stand by. I'm using, hold on a minute. My Beworth and Sons. Let me get that off there. Gentleman's favorite, just so you know the razor that I'm using. I didn't say, I just started shaving because I guess I was running my mouth too much. Gee, there's a shocker. But so far, my experience with this soap has been good. If you don't like light scents, that might be a knock against this. And like I say, you know, I'd like probably about twice the strength scent. Or look at me, my dyslexia is catching up with me. Twice the scent strength. But for me, scent is not as crucial as long as it's a pleasant scent. You know, if the scent is light but the soap performs well, then, and it does, then, you know, it's good for me. I don't, I'm not one of these guys that's looking for the scent of the soap to blow the top of my head off. I know that there are guys that are, and I know that there's everything else, everything in between, you know. But there's a lot of different factors that I look for in soap, and scent is just one of them. And like I said, it's a wonderful scent. It just is a little weak. But it's that wonderful Bacardi-like rum. It's just lovely. But what I'm looking for the most in the soap is performance. You know, does the soap, and I'm going to add just a hair of water, more water to this. Does the soap do its job? Can I get a good shave out of it? Does it hold up? Does it stay, you know, on my face if I talk a lot and take a lot of time? You know, will that soap remain and continue to offer the same protection and stuff that it did 5 minutes ago when I put it on my face? That kind of thing, you know. Slickness is also a part of it, although I don't, you know, I want a lot of slickness to shave with a straight, but it's not a deal killer for me that the soap doesn't have a lot of it. To me, a lot of people say that Barbasol is slick, and I just went another with the grain. Well, what for me is not with the grain, but another north-south pass. That's all right. I can fix that. Anyway, I don't get a ton of slickness from Barbasol. And I don't slack on the water with it, so for me, it doesn't produce a ton of slickness. And this soap doesn't produce a huge amount of slickness for me, but there's some slickness there. There's enough to do the job, and the lather is absolutely beautiful. It hydrates well, or holds water. It incorporates water well. You know, a lot of times when people talk about how well a soap holds water or how much water you put in a soap, it's always about slickness. Most of the time, for me, that's a part of it, but I have found that the more water I can get into a soap, first of all, the less likely that soap is to irritate my face. But also the amount of water I can get into a soap helps to determine how well that post-shave feel is going to be, in my experience. If I don't get enough water in a soap and I shave with the dry lather, then I've got no right to say, well, that soap dries out my face. I'm sure it does. There's not enough water in the soap. And soap is basically, from what I understand, it's a salt. Salt draws moisture out. That's why they put all the other stuff in it to keep it moisturizing your face. So if you don't put enough water in it, what do you expect? So, I mean, that's kind of my take on it. So I try to get as much water in a lather as it'll take for two reasons. Because it helps to accentuate the slickness, and it helps, well, three reasons. It cuts down on irritation, and it helps with the post-shave feel. That's just my experience. I mean, and that's all this channel is. It's my opinion, my experience. All right, there we go. That's better. So yeah, Yulay, soap of the gods. Lovely soap. Lovely lather. The lather on this soap is on par with a lot of very expensive soaps. The price of the soap doesn't make a dime's worth of difference to me, except for the fact that when it gets too high, I can't afford it. There's a lot of soaps. Let me dry my face. There's a lot of soaps out there, and I'm going to use some Barbasol Brisk. There's a lot of soaps out there that are, I mean, just my opinion, but for example, Razor Rock. That's as good a soap as you're going to find. I don't care how much money you spend, Razor Rock is wonderful stuff. If they charged $50 for it, people would be crawling out of the woodwork talking about how fantastic the soap is, and they wouldn't put that little disclaimer for the price on the end of it either. Razor Rock is awesome soap. So, $9, $8, or $7, something like that. So price isn't always an indicator of quality. It's just an indicator of how much somebody talked you into spending money for something. I mean, that's my opinion a lot of times. And so, but I mean, this soap is on par with a lot of soaps that I've used that cost a lot more than most. It's just a luxurious type of feel. Wonderful soap. If you get a chance, hey, what I would tell you to do is order some samples. $2 and you get this sample. And I bet you, I've had 2 shaves on it already. And I bet you I got 4 or 5 shaves on that sample. Easy coming. So, it's an easy way to get into trying the soaps. And so, I mean, that would be my suggestion. If you're interested in this soap, buy some samples. All right, God bless you. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you later.